we're back. Welcome back to Modern Art Blitz. I'm your host, Matt Gleason. This is our 59th episode. Can you believe it? Yeah, you haven't been on them all, though.
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
So you were told earlier this week, what were you told when you had a guest speaker at because you're an intern from college, and you were told, you told everybody that you were an intern with Modern Art Blitz?
It's a lecture class. I didn't stand up in front of like all 300 students like, excuse me, everyone, I'm an intern for Matt Gleason.
Oh, no. Well, that's okay. But so you go up and you talk to the goofballs who gave you their talk, like they're the coolest people in the art world.
Yeah.
And you told them you're an intern at Coagula Curatorial, Modern Art Blitz, and what did they say?
The guy's face melted in front of me. Melted off of his face. And then he says, well, good luck, you're working with some pretty polarizing people, and kind of walked away.
Hashtag polarizing.
Look at how happy he is about that.
I love it. I was like, she texted me this whole drama. So and then I played a little joke on you earlier today.
Oh yeah, that was nice. What
was the joke?
Oh, he texted me saying, oh, well, I'm sick, so you're going to have to interview everybody yourself today.
And all she said was, can you give me their full names?
Yeah, all I said was giving you their
So she was ready. She was going to interview people.
I was going to do it.
She was fearless. I was like, oh, okay. I was just kidding. I was just fucking with you.
He always tries to get a reaction out of me, but it never works.
Well, But anyway, our guest today, earlier in the show, is Catherine Ruane. Later will be Jim Duchenne. But right now we have a legend of Southern California. I want to call it one of the pioneers of social practice that now infamous. You can get an MFA in it now. Back in the day, she had to invent it all on her own. Jill Danienica. Jill, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you,
Welcome,
Matt.
welcome.
Thank you.
We were neighbors for years at the Brewery Art Colony, so Jill and I go way back, way back. So Jill, in 1992, 25 years ago.
1993, on the first anniversary.
Oh, the anniversary of the riots, so
Yes.
24 years ago. Mm-hmm. So on the anniversary of the LA riots, which took place 25 years ago, wow, it seems like just yesterday, I was looting Miller's output. Oh, no, okay. Just kidding. So you decided to tell LA there's hope.
Yeah, so, the civil unrest was very divisive. The news was crazy. They kept playing violence on loop. Even though day two, there was tons of us down, across the city trying to offer our help in any way we could, but the news cycle was just showing
Looting,
fires,
burning.
Violence, burning. And it was a loop. And I knew other things were happening, but that doesn't sell. So that wasn't being shown until Eddie Olmos showed up on day 4. And then the news cameras, I think, started to show some of the people coming from all over the town to try to support and start healing the city. So anyway, that was something in the back of my head. And about 10 months later, I got this urge to go out and buy a little garden angel that I had seen at a craft store. And
okay.
I brought it home and I painted it bright magenta on a whim. And it looked so great and it brightened my day. And no matter where I put it, it was just hilarious and made me feel so good. And I thought, God, these angels are this is great. I want to see it everywhere. And I didn't know what everywhere meant. And I was driving home from work one night on the 101 freeway and I saw downtown in front of me. And it hit me like a bolt over my head. These angels belong all over Los Angeles.
Because it's the city of angels.
I didn't realize that at the time because I'm thick. So I went home and I started to write out my little proposal for what I wanted to do. And because LACE was having Los Angeles Contemporary Exhibitions was offering a grant to new genres. So I thought, and it was due in like 10 days. And I thought, okay, I'm going to write it up as a grant proposal. And in the middle of writing it up, I realized, oh, duh, these angels belong around Los Angeles.
City of Angels.
It's the City of Angels. And so when I was writing it up, I had to decide how many angels I wanted to put around the city.
Okay.
And numbers are very important to me in my art. And so I thought the least I could do, the most I could do physically and the least I could do to have an impact would be 10 per square mile. Los Angeles is 400, well, anyway, I did 4,687 angels.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And when I first came up with the project, I thought I would put them all out in one night. And
Well,
yeah, I was disabused of that very quickly by an artist friend of mine who said, there's no way, and they'll be gone before it makes any impact at all. You got to put them out gradually.
okay.
And then that actually made it so that I could actually do it. There's no way I could have done it.
So Lace gave you the grant.
But not until 10 months later. So I was or 6 months later. So I was doing this on my own for 6 months before I knew whether or not I had any funding for it.
Oh, no.
And I was in my studio. It took, I think in the first 6 months of the project, I only got 86 angels out in the city.
Uh-huh.
And then the grant from Lace came through. I was able to get some professional molds made. And then in the next 6 months, I put out probably close to 2,500. I mean,
Wow.
it was just crazy.
Wow, wow, wow.
So it started very gradually. And the idea was that, that the appearance of these angels, and more importantly, as soon as word got out, the act of looking for an angel would remind each person that they were in the city of angels. So to me, the little plaster angel was not important. It was just a prop for a psychological state that I was trying to bring people to. I wanted people to start seeing magic in the city. I wanted people to you know, the idea for me was looking for the angel, not finding it. And as soon as word did get out through the press and television, that's what was happening. So it was activated by media picking up on it and spreading the word for me. So that's when the piece got activated. And I heard from people that, I remember one couple left a message on my answering machine that said, we had heard that the angels were going to show up in Echo Park today, so we drove in from some suburb of LA. We drove in and we hung out at Echo Park all day waiting for you to show up at the Angels, and you never showed up, but we had this great time.
Ah.
It was interesting.
This was before email.
It was before,
See,
oh my God,
yes.
yeah. It was before, yeah, viral. Like,
They left a message on my
they
answering
left a
machine.
message
Oh,
on
boy.
my answering machine.
Yeah.
Because the television station gave them my phone number. It was just, anyway.
So now you got a lot of attention for this. You started off just saying, hey, you're going to put these angels, and whatever happens, happens, and artists following their own path. And you didn't necessarily pursue too much PR on this, did you? You didn't have a publicist.
No.
You didn't hire a PR team.
What
What
I
happened?
was really young. I didn't know anything. What happened was, let's see. I think I opened my studio up at the brewery in October. So I started in April. And in October, I opened my studio up for the Open Studio Tour. And a reporter from the downtown Los Angeles News came by and saw a bunch of the angels hanging out in the studio. And she asked me what was going on. And I told her. And she said, I want to do a cover story on you.
Gotta love it.
But I didn't, because I didn't want it to be about me. I wanted it to be about the angels. And she said, I can't do the story without you. I want it to be anonymous. The angels weren't signed. They were numbered on their butt. And so no matter, what we did is...
Like us all.
I would put an angel out. I would stamp its butt with a number, put it out, take a photograph. So I documented each angel's placement. And then I wrote in a ledger where I placed it and input it into a map. A DOS map on I don't know, it was before Google Maps too. Anyway, I didn't want my name to be associated with it because I didn't want it to be about me. I wanted it to be about this magical experience. But she said, I can't run a cover story without an artist. So I relented. She did this story. The LA Times picked it up. The Christian Science Monitor picked it up. CBS Sunday Morning picked it up. It went across the United States.
Oh.
And that's when, so the day it aired this 8-minute segment on CBS Sunday Morning, my phone was ringing off the hook, and I was planning to go to Venice to put some angels out in Venice. And I think I left before the segment aired, and when I got to Venice, there were people just crowding around me on the street. I had become instantly famous.
Like, you're driving on the freeway not realizing everybody else in the world is watching you on TV.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I think, fame comes to people in different ways. I don't think it comes like that, like so quickly, like 1 minute you're not famous and the next minute you are.
Wow.
And so that day, people were just coming at me from all over the place. I just saw you on TV. Oh my gosh,
Did anybody show up dressed as you trying to get some of that attention? No?
They didn't know I was going to be there.
Okay. So what are we looking at here?
So the Angels piece was wildly successful for me. It answered all the questions I had about art and its power. And, and if art could be meaningful in a social sphere, if it could promote change, and if it could... Anyway, it answered every single question that I had had from art school. And then I was sort of at a loss for what to do.
What do you do next?
Exactly, because I didn't have any more questions to ask. And I did a small piece called the Greater Mysteries, which was based on the major arcana of the tarot, which I knew nothing about, but I did a series of self-portraits based on that. And from there, that piece led me to, I was commissioned by the Westchester Library by the airport.
So that's where this is.
To do a series of portraits that I called character studies. And so part of what I'm doing with all of my art in all different, because I work in every genre, is I'm telling stories, right? And so these stories, I asked the patrons and the librarians from the library to tell me their favorite historical or fictional character, and then I dressed them up as that character, took photographs, and made collages of them. There's a detail.
Can we do the next shot? Is it a detail shot? Let's do the next shot.
Made collages of them.
Ah, okay.
And then we silk screened it onto 4x8 panels of wood.
Okay.
And that forms the ceiling and the walls of the library.
And so this is in Westchester. And so you got on the public art thing. So now is that like easy street?
No.
No.
No. I get maybe 1 out of every 5 commissions I apply
You
for.
apply, and it's a long application, right?
Yeah, it's a long process.
It's not like 3 questions.
No, you have to write up a proposal. You have to write up why you think you're right for the piece. Send your previous work. You know, the budgets I've worked with have been all fairly small to get to the next level. I think all under 100,000.
Oh.
So
you want to do a few of those to impress the over 100,000 crowd? Is that it?
Yeah. Well, you just can't. You know, they want to see your past work to vet you for this current work, so it's sort of hard to move beyond. Anyway, this piece actually wasn't a big budget at all, but we made the most of what we had.
Wow, wow, wow.
And so I had little, this was, I think the piece you're looking at is, what is it about? It's about a baby who eats an alligator, and I don't care.
Oh,
it's a
common theme.
It's a children's story. And so the woman in the back is a librarian, and then the little baby in the anyway, so I put them all in there. I had Harry Potter. I think I had several Harry Potters, a Hermione. I had William Faulkner. I had Frida Kahlo, Madam C.J. Walker, this beautiful, these 2 twin girls dressed up, and it was called Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters. It's like a Cinderella tale.
And this is all still up at that library,
yeah, it's
right?
permanent.
Oh, it's permanent.
That's the ceilings and the walls of the library.
Nice,
so anybody can go in and see it.
nice. So let's fast forward to present day and the wonderful world that we live in today called, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Tell me about the political sphere. I see on Facebook you're down at all the marches.
I am.
If there's a march,
I'm there.
if there's a march, you're there.
I'm there. Oh, we're not looking at the political stuff though
No?
right now. That's cool. I don't have one. So yeah.
You're there. You're every. Can one make art in these political times?
Well, okay. So I have spent several weeks
You're covering your microphone.
Sorry. I have spent several weeks sort of just wanting to put my head under the covers, completely depressed and sick to my stomach, and the only thing that makes me feel better is to get out and march at these marches, and I'm asking myself that question. I think I asked myself that question around the angels. It's like pertinent again. Like, how does one respond in a creative, empathetic way to times that are troubling? I don't have the answer yet, but some women that were hanging out at the Little Knittery in Atwater, one of the women was going to the march in Washington, and she decided to knit herself a hat, and so she was taking lessons there, learning how to knit. And one of the owners of the Little Knittery came up with this pattern, and she knit herself a pussy hat, and they decided to tell people all about it, and that is how the pussy hat phenomenon started. And to me, it's the most brilliant piece of public art currently happening.
And once again, pink. Something about
I know, the
pink,
same color.
Something about pink stuff.
I went up to see her the other day, the woman who owns the knittery, and she said, here's the original color, and it's the color of those angels.
Fluorescent magenta.
And the color, fluorescent magenta, I found out way into that project, that particular color that I had chosen on a whim is the color that you can see furthest, your eye can see at the furthest distance.
Really?
Uh-huh. And it's also vibrationally a healing color.
Vibrationally a healing color.
Yeah, so they also picked it, probably pretty intuitively.
Wow.
And it's this great, it's a brilliant public art piece because it empowers each person, everybody, to make their own hat. It's communal. You can share them with somebody else. And then, you know, hundreds of thousands of women were wearing them at the first march, the Women's March. And it was a great, fun, visual symbol. It turned something on its head.
Are you making them?
No, my daughter is making them.
Your daughter?
I'm helping her. So
Which daughter?
the little one.
The little one.
The 11-year-old.
How would you like to go through life being known as the little one? Oh, is this a man's version? Or help me out here. Am I supposed
Or
to
you-
wear this?
yeah, put it on.
Okay. Here we go.
No, other way, Maddie.
Oh, wait.
There we go.
There we go. Oh, well, there. I don't know how to get my pussy on right, but
There
okay.
we go. Perfect.
There we go. Okay. And Eliza's got one. Wow, wow, wow. Well, while we were talking art and politics, intern Eliza was sketching you, Jill. Wow. Wow.
gonna be
You
happy
ready?
you're
You ready to
sad.
see
I'm
it?
ready.
It kind of looks like a
Why
veil.
you look scared? You look
There you
very
go.
frightened.
You look
Oh,
classical.
that's great. I look like a Renaissance drawing.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. So here we go. And that's courtesy of intern Eliza.
Thanks, Eliza.
Jill Danienica, I'm going to treasure this hat.
Is this ours? Yeah, that's for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got
I brought
one.
them for
There you go. Wow. What do you think?
I love it.
Is it your color?
Yeah, it is actually. You like it?
Jill Danienica, thanks for being on Modern Art Blitz.
Thank you. Hey, I got to do a little plug.
Uh-oh.
I am now directing film and television, and my first episode of TV is going to air on the end of March, Switched at Birth.
A
episode
TV show
9,
called Switched at Birth.
Switched at Birth on Freeform.
Episode 9. What's Freeform?
It's used to be ABC Family. It's an offshoot of Disney, ABC.
Okay.
And it's a great show, and I'm so proud of what the actors and the crew did, and I'm so excited that it's my first episode of television.
And it's called
ever.
Switched at Birth.
Switched at Birth.
And it's not about the Antichrist visiting the hospital when
It is
Donald
about-
Trump was born.
The series is about two girls who, when they were born, were switched at the hospital, and at 15, they find out they're in the wrong families, and they have to find a way to. And one of the characters is deaf, so it has a beautiful one of the major themes of the show is deaf culture.
And you directed this.
I directed one of the episodes.
Episode 9.
Episode 9
End of
of
March.
Season 5. End of March
Season
on
5.
Freeform.
Wow.
It's
Switched
called
at Birth.
The Wolf is Waiting, my episode.
Yours is The Wolf is Waiting.
The Wolf is Waiting.
Well, that's, well, is it about Washington, D.C.? Never mind. Ladies and gentlemen, Jill Danienica will be back right after this.
Thanks, guys.
Woohoo! Awesome.